Did you know Tikinagan Child and Family Services serves the District of Thunder Bay? Tikinagan Child and Family Services works together with First Nations communities to protect children and help families create and sustain a healthy, safe home environment. But we all have a moral obligation to protect our children from harm so that they can live in safety and grow up to become our community's leaders. If you're concerned for a child's well-being, call Tikinagan or your local Children's Aid Society. To learn more, visit tikinagan.org or call 1-800-465-3624.
Wajie, Buju. You are now listening to Kahkenuh Aweyuk, everyone working together on TikTok Radio, hosted by Tikinagan Child and Family Services. We appreciate you tuning in to our weekly program held every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. on OACAS Radio. Tikinagan is a community-based child and family well-being agency rooted in and accountable to the First Nation communities we serve. We are here because we want to protect our children, help our families, and nurture our communities. To learn more about Tikinagan, visit tikinagan.org. That's tikinagan.org.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Project Outsiders podcast mini-series in collaboration with the Ontario Association of Children's Aid Societies. We are here on a mission to talk about a post-pandemic mental health recovery plan with youth in care and professionals, together at one table. OACAS has been developing a mental health toolkit to benefit all children involved in the welfare system.
And the first question, and if you do have an answer, please raise your hand. What do you guys think is one of the most difficult things for youth in care right now while in isolation?
I'm very dependent on other people for my mental health. It's incredibly difficult to be provided those social comforts through Zoom all the time. And I understand that through COVID, we have to be a little bit sacrificial of our personal health for the health of others. But it has been my most difficult part of being in isolation.
We, as youth in care, are so social, constantly forced into social settings and socializing, and we're constantly just talking with others. And so to have that just yanked from our lives for a whole year, and to have no real way to like contact workers, get in touch, like so many times before was it that I will be able to get in touch with my worker just because I was in and around the agency for programming and stuff like that. Now that's not an option because no one's at the agency. So unless I had her phone number or something, I can't really get in contact with her. And workers are so overloaded with stuff that it sometimes just is, they just don't have the time. The social aspect of being in care, just having to constantly be social and then learning to do that and adapt to that lifestyle, and then having that all taken away from you, it makes you feel like you're in a withdrawal.
So I do want to ask the question, what was the most impactful thing throughout the pandemic that affected your mental health?
Personally, for me, it's been this whole thing of, the government really doesn't care about us. Obviously felt that before the pandemic, but especially with everything the current government has been doing in terms of, the paid sick days, the COVID vaccines, it had just made me feel like, oh my God, like these politicians really don't care. And especially not listening to people like us who have lived experiences in foster homes and group homes and not doing anything to support us.
Finding out who you are is hard, and it sucks, and it's scary, and it's sad, and it's overwhelming, and it's terrifying. And I think like I'm in that position right now where it's like you're just with yourself all the time, to the point where it's like you're like, who am I? Wait, so that person I thought I was before quarantine, that's not who I am? Wait, so you're saying, so actually that was just a mask and a distraction because you never were really by yourself the whole time. You were always with other people. So you thought you knew who you were. So then now you're by yourself and now you really get to know who you are and you don't really like it. And that's not good. So what can we do now to change that and make sure you like yourself? Because I think what's really great also about this is having the opportunity now to deal with that and deal with those demons. And then when we leave quarantine, to leave with a version of ourselves that we really like. And I think right now that's where I'm at. And it's hard. You know, I almost cried this morning. So no one's perfect. No matter how someone may seem and they're happy and they're loud and they're outgoing, you know, there's, you never know what's going on behind closed doors.
For me, the transition from COVID to where we are now, I guess, it was really rough at the start. And then like as the world started to adapt to like having COVID measures and you can go outside again and not be harassed by the police.
I want to go on to another really important topic, a couple. One is a little bit actually something that I heard a lot inside of our prep sessions for this interview is this idea of guardianship, right? That I definitely hear a lot of people talk about. We've talked a little bit about that today as well, but I do know that some people want to elaborate on that further because it's vital, especially with our own mental health. It's a matter of understanding what should be our expectation as a youth in care or who has aged out of care, you know, is dealing with a global pandemic. We have certain responsibilities that was way out of our pay grade. And we have had to take care of not only ourselves, but other people, maybe our siblings, maybe our parents. And it's an overwhelming experience to have when you have this responsibility of taking care of everyone else's needs. And you're still, because you're the stable one, because people view you as the stable one, they think that you don't need to be taken care of. And that is, so I want to ask you guys, like, how have you experienced taking on all these additional responsibilities and how are you managing and what are some of the things that you feel like you need that you could benefit from?
Someone had told me this not that long ago and it really resonated with me, was if you're not doing well and if you're not healthy mentally and physically, how can you show up for other people? You know, if you're not doing good, how are you going to do good for others? So if I'm trying to be a good sister, I'm trying to be a good aunt, I'm trying to be a good daughter, a good friend, a person people look up to, a person that people want to, you know, be like, not even be like, but, you know, they want to change their life, you know, and they see me as someone who did it. If I want to be that for somebody, then I need to be that for somebody. I can't just, you know, play the part, but not really be the part, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think what's been helping me is not pushing myself too hard, realizing that even just doing it, even having the thought and just doing, you know, checking up and just shooting a text or a call is enough because I don't even have to do anything, you know? And I think it's something that I commend everyone who does do it because it is hard.
I really want to tell people to make sure to get themselves out there, even though you can't physically do so. Check the opportunities like these ones with OACAS and with every other organization that offers these amplified positions, because it's our responsibility to take what we've come from and formate something that can change from it. Yeah. It's not easy to take what you've gone through and speak it to a bunch of people, but that change really resonates with others and it connects with other youth in care and gives them the opportunity to see that, yes, there's the ability to be heard.
I wanted to kind of go to the next question super quickly. Actually, we only have about 2 questions left that I want to ask everyone. And this one question is actually, I wanted to ask this because of how close we are to the official date. So 8 days from now is when Youth in Care Day. Obviously, on this day, it's supposed to be a day to recognize us, right? And it's a day where, like, we're supposed to celebrate. What do we celebrate, though? What is this day truly meant for? And what does it mean to us? I wanted to ask this question to you.
Since I've been getting into advocacy in my teenage years, it's been meaning a lot to me. There's usually a lot of special events that we get to go to, and just it really amplifies what we do and what we go through and to the general public. I'm getting to be a part of a great event for Youth and Care Day, which I'm super excited about. OCAC, and they're on Facebook. But it means a lot to me. And on this day, I usually take time to just reflect on my time in care and connect with other youth.
For me, Youth and Care Day has been super unique because I didn't even know it was a thing until which is so weird because I'm literally a Crown Ward, and I think people just, for some reason, decided to keep this information from me. But I did not know it was a thing until I was 18. Isn't that crazy? I never went to anything and never went to any event until I was 18. And then I was like, what do you mean this is a thing? You mean this isn't the first time this has happened? Wait, this has been, oh, okay. So I show up. I went the first time, it was at the barbecue in York Region, I think. Mm-hmm. If you guys ever went, have you guys been to that? The pool and stuff. Well, it was a day where there was a lot of youth and everyone was there and there was hot dogs and hamburgers. So yeah, pool, it was luxurious. It was quite 5-star experience. That was fun. I remember I did like face painting on kids and ate good food, and that was fun.
Aiden, I would love to hear your viewpoints on what Youth and Care Day means to you.
This will be my first year celebrating it, actually. And I agree in a sense that the fact that it's not like talked about properly. I sort of knew about it in foster care. Like, I think they took us out when I was living in group homes. I think they took us out to like a barbecue or something at another house. It actually makes me really angry that politicians don't do anything on this day. You know, you think that, like somebody was mentioned earlier, you know, like you want them to show up and like, you know, do something and show that they actually care, but they don't. And I remember yelling about something like this in the Project Outsiders group chat about how much anger I have for politicians and people in power for, you know, not caring about us, or at least acting like they care about us, you know?
100%. I hear what you're saying is like, it's one thing, first of all, to show up at all is just decent respect, right? Respect for us, respect for your responsibility as our caregiver. You are legitimately our guardians. The ward, the crown is our guardian. And so what you could do at least is show up and then follow that up with a plan, a strategy, and tell us or show us that, you know what, you want to really be a part of change this time around, right? It means something.
To me, Youth and Care Day is my most favorite failure of a concept. I love the intention, I love the purpose, I love the idea of it, but the execution, time after time after time, with the exception of maybe one time, has been a failure to me. And the fact that it's not recognized as something that is worthwhile, as something that is worth anyone's time, is also kind of like a slap in the face to me. I wish there was more that was done for it. I wish that it was actually respected or cared about. And it's kind of clear that it's not, seeing as our own politicians don't feel any need to speak about them or to give any addresses that are personal and passionate and performed in person, as opposed to a dispassionate, uninformative letter. It just really takes the wind out of my sails sometimes. So I really like the idea of it. I think that just people don't care about it and they don't have any intention of doing more with it. So
it's been a long conversation, and I'm so incredibly grateful for you guys sticking around and being a part of it. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and your lives and your perspectives and being a part of this, what we want to change essentially within the child welfare system, and speaking up for other youth in care. That it's important that we continue to do this because we're trying to really make an influence for the next generation. Hopefully there's a lot of people who listen to today's conversation, this podcast, and they're able to take away some really powerful points.
Thank you for listening to Kahkenuh Aweyuk, everyone working together on TikTok Radio. hosted by Tikinagan Child and Family Services.